morning and welcome to day 2 of Henley Women's Regatta. My name is Tom Morgan. I'm here with Alison Mowbray this morning and we'll be guiding you through all of the racing, starting from our first race of the day, race 104, which has just left the state boats. The first heat of the senior lightweight single sculls. Peterborough on the left-hand side of your picture and the City of Bristol on the right.
And we could have a good race here for kick-off for the first race today in the senior lightweight singles for the Fiona Dennis Trophy. We would expect, on the times from yesterday's heat, Camilla Plum to be in the lead from this one, and certainly she has taken a good lead at the end of the island. Camilla Plum for Peterborough Regatta on the right of your picture now in the blue. She had the fastest time of the day yesterday in the heats, a time of 6:05, which is only actually 2 seconds off the course record. So she had a fantastic race yesterday, and she beat Katie MacDonald of Durham University by 3/4 of a length. So these scullers taking it down to the island now. Camilla Plum being warned for her steering, always a little bit tricky. You sculled on this water, Tom?
I have a couple of times, and actually I've had the footplate a few times, which proved problematic because I like to sit in the middle of the river and try and dominate the opposition, but it doesn't work when they're 3 lengths ahead of you already. But the girl from Peterborough there, she looks pretty assured, doesn't she? She comes down the course. She's already opened up clear water on her opposition from the City of Bristol. A little look over her shoulder there, and I think in a single scarless, I think she's got this race under control already.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get that much advantage straight away, she's settled down onto a good steady rhythm of 33, which is still pretty high for a single. Looking very strong. She's got that really strong push through at the finish. And we've got Hazel Fulham for City of Bristol on the right-hand side of your picture. Oh, we've just switched over now. So we're getting those
Fantastic drone shots.
Pictures from the fixed cameras on the bank, and also the drone, which just cheekily poked its head down there for you to see, getting us some good pictures. And Hazel Fulham chasing a swan down there now. Swan's been caught napping on the course on the first race of the day today. So these girls had to race yesterday. They'll have had to weigh in again this morning. And they've got another 2 races tomorrow. So this is effectively the quarter-final.
I was just thinking as they come past us here, our commentary box, I think you probably referred to it as, is situated just about parallel with the barrier. And there's some wonderful shots, aren't they, as they come past us. We've got a great view as they do reach the barrier. And actually, as the course progresses down past the Forley and onto Upper Thames, it certainly does look like Camilla Plum from Peterborough. Right out in the middle of the river now, but the umpire, Mark Blandford-Baker, doesn't seem to be too bothered by that. I think he thinks that the sculler from Peterborough has got this race fully under control. And she moves down the course. I don't think the athlete from the City of Bristol is going to be coming back.
She's actually, I think it's quite hard, once you're not side by side, you don't have that restriction. She's moved right across, but she's far enough ahead now in the Peterborough boat that even though she has moved almost into Hazel Fulham's water, that she's not impeding her. So I think we can leave that race now, assuming anything really terrible happens. I think Camilla Plum has that one lined up, and move across to race 105, another heat of the senior lightweight single sculls. Between, on the right-hand side of your picture there, number 336, Susie Perry of Thames Rowing Club. And on the left-hand side of your picture in the yellow boat, sculler 339, Laura MacDonald of Edinburgh University.
Looks like it might be a bit of a closer race here, Alison, as the 2 scullers come down past that first camera shot. I think the sculler from Thames Rowing Club had the slight advantage, up to no more than 1/4 of a length. But actually, Laura MacDonald from Edinburgh University, she's an established name on the student sculling circuit. Say that 3 times really, really quickly. On the student sculling circuit, she's won quite a few titles, and actually, you might be able to hear the feedback there. There's some raucous support for the two scullers as they move down the course. And they're just coming past our position here about the barrier. And actually, it's developing into a pretty good race.
Yeah, Susie had the advantage. Susie of Thames Rowing Club had the advantage off the island. But she dropped her rate of striking down to 32, whereas Laura MacDonald in the pale blue of Edinburgh University kept hers a bit higher. And that's meant that Laura MacDonald was able to stay in contact. She's still got that crucial overlap. And once you lose that, it starts to make a difference. But we can still think that she's still within a boat length here. Approaching the barrier down the course, still got that contact.
Well, I think especially in a single, the psychological advantage of breaking that contact is massive, because if you're sculling along and you can't actually see or hear your opposition, it has a massive effect on your morale, doesn't it, I suppose?
Yeah, you want to try and keep that. I was lucky enough to be on the launch yesterday, so I was coaching from the launches yesterday, and I watched Susie Perry of Thames Rowing Club. I watched her race, and she had a very easy race of it. Which meant she didn't have a very fast time in her heat because she just was able to breeze through. She looked very comfortable, but she's been pressed a little bit more today. I mean, I thought that she would make it through another round, and it's looking increasingly like she will. But Laura MacDonald of Edinburgh University she's giving her a good race, just pushing her on. And the important thing really is, you never know what happens, and particularly in a single, if you're within kind of striking distance, and you want to be there if anyone catches a blade or does something terrible with their steering, then that's when you can seize that advantage. And also, she's just starting to break clear now, but still within a length and a quarter. It's still feasible within kind of 500 metres. If you absolutely have something left, you can take that.
I've got to say, Laura is hanging in there admirably at the moment, considering, as you say, the pedigree of Susie Perry from Thames Rowing Club. But I think Susie's established a margin of control over that race. Sitting a length up, she can almost, as you say, control what's going on behind her and respond to any moves that Laura does make.
Just got perfect conditions today. So, back up to the start of our third race of the morning, race 106. If you've got your programmes out. Another heat, the senior lightweight single sculls for the Fiona Dennis Trophy. On the right of your picture, so we're looking at the top of the picture there, we've got sculler 340 Phoebe Cook of Derby Rowing Club on what we call the Berkshire station. And the bottom pictures, they've switched it round, on the bottom pictures, and with the yellow blades, the yellow blades of Northwich Rowing Club, we've got Bethany Meakin on the town side.
Again, it looks like it's developing into a pretty decent race. The problem with these singles is when they're good, they're excellent, but quite often a sculler will move out and establish a margin of control quite quickly. But actually, of two of the three races we've had so far, they've been pretty close, and the scullers have been well matched, and we hope to see that sort of pedigree of racing throughout the day, because it adds to the drama and the competition that makes Henley Women's Regatta such a fantastic event. But as the crews come down past that famous barrier marker, which denotes about a quarter of the Henley Royal course, so probably about a third of the Henley Women's course, it looks like the sculler from Derby Rowing Club, Phoebe Cook, is just about, I don't know, a third of length up. I think the bow ball of the Norwich sculler is just about tickling the middle of the boat, the middle of the Derby sculler's boat. So definitely a race on our hands here.
Yeah, I mean, Bethany Meakin of Norwich Rowing Club with the yellow kit. She's got that very lovely boat there with the reverse wing rigger, so quite unusual. There's a few more these days, but you can see she's in that boat, and she won her heat yesterday by 3/4 of the length. She was quite pushed yesterday, whereas Phoebe Cook of Derby Rowing Club, I got to see that race as well. I was commentating on that race, and she won her heat very easily. She looked very comfortable, but she's as we might expect coming into the second round of these races today, she's having to fight a little bit more for it. She's looking very strong and very comfortable. She's rating lower. She's able to let the boat run out. When you look at these races, these close races, if you can see the sculler who's managing to stay with it at a lower rating, at a longer stroke. You think that they should have more coming into the finish. She's got some pedigree from this season, Phoebe Cook from Derby Rowing Club, on the right of your picture now. She won the pennant in the elite quads at the Brit Champs, and she's been in the singles since. So she was in, did some quadding.
It's an established athlete then.
Yeah, so she's got some, she's got some success this season. Been in the singles since, and is after this she'll be going into a heavyweight double. To prepare for Henley Royal Regatta in 2 weeks' time.
What a fantastic opportunity that is for all the girls who do want to race at the Royal Regatta. The 3 new women's events being introduced this year for the doubles, the pairs and the fours.
Yeah.
And a lot of these girls I'm sure you'll be seeing compete at the Royal Regatta in 2 weeks' time. I can't wait to see how the new events pan out. But as those 2 athletes come past, I don't know, about 2/3 of the course gone, it does look like the Derby Rowing Club sculler Phoebe Cook has established about 3/4 of a length lead. So the race is by no means over. Bethany Meakin from Norwich Rowing Club still very much in this, and actually you saw her glance over her shoulder there on the right hand side of your picture. I think she knows she's still in this, and perhaps a late charge could turn the tables on Phoebe from Derby. Which is those 2 crews. That camera angle isn't the most insightful, but actually I think you can just about see on the left hand side, on the right hand side of your picture, beg your pardon, it is the Derby Rowing Club sculler who continues to lead. You see how far the crews are apart, whereas the first race of the day, the Peterborough sculler was right over into the middle of the river. I don't know how much of a difference that would make, Alison, if any at all.
It's funny from these pictures, and when when you see it, you just think you think they must have so much room. But I've raced on that course, and you feel like you have no room. You either feel like you're right in the middle, or you feel like you're against the booms. It may just be the angle here, but Bethany Meakin of Norwich Rowing Club does seem to be pulling up.
Definitely charging.
She's made a big charge. We said that if she could stay within a boat length, then she still had the opportunity. Very tight there.
I think actually she did it.
She was pretty. I mean, that would be very impressive if she managed to do that. She really put a big charge in. So we'll wait for the results to come through on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, we'll wait for the results. We'll do a roundup at the I think at the end of this race. But this is race 107, so the last of the 4 heats of the senior lightweight single sculls, with Greenbank Falmouth, Lewis on the left-hand side of your picture, and Bristol University on the right-hand side of your picture as it stands. And 2 crews leaving the start pretty cleanly. No early dramas, which is catastrophic on the Henley course. If you catch a buoy or a boom early on, that's pretty much race over. But I think both of those scullers got away nice and clean, fast starts. If you look on the left-hand side of your picture, the sculler from Bristol University, apologies for the polarisation of the left and right, the camera angles do change. But athlete 346, Bristol University, she looks like she's got actually slightly better of the 2 starts, a bit more aggressive, a bit more punchy through the middle of the stroke. If you see, she's just picking the boat up that little bit more than our opposition. I think, yeah, as they come down past Temple Island, it is Bristol University, the Bristol University athlete who probably has a slight lead there.
Yeah, she's still got her rate up at 38, so she went off fast, and she's still got that shorter, punchier stroke. It's enabling her to get out that lead compared to Sarah Lewis of Greenbank Falmouth Rowing Club, settled a little bit earlier. But now, it's going to be close as we come down this one. We've had some pretty good races in this lightweight single so far today. And this one looks like it could be the closest. For this is going for that last place. So Bristol University had it to start off with, and now Greenbank Falmouth has pulled that back. She's really accelerated through the middle.
I think I landed you in there, Alison. I called that completely wrong. And it is the sculler from Greenbank Falmouth who's almost out to a length. I mean, from my perspective, it certainly looked like the Bristol University sculler had the better of the 2 starts, but
she did, but she had a more powerful start, but she kept it shorter for longer. And Sarah Lewis of Greenbank Falmouth was able to kind of get out to a better rhythm.
Look at that, she's out to clear water already. Certainly got the better of the 2 rhythms as they come past us here at the barrier. I mean, you look at the length,
very strong.
Massively so. Lots of length, and she seems to have more time than her opposition. From Bristol University, which is always a sign, I think, that the sculler's going well. If she looks like she's more relaxed, she looks like she's got more time on the recovery. Don't mean to tempt fate, but already that race looks relatively decided. that gap now. The drone is such an insightful shot, and she's established 2 or 3 lengths of clear water already.
Oh, I think it's just we were just hopeful for a close race because it makes it easier for us. So we were always hopeful. And you know, when they come off, you come off the end of the island, and it's very, very early in those first 20 strokes. And you just think, oh, maybe we've got a good one. We were being greedy to think that within 4 races of the day we might have a good one to commentate on.
I think we had 2 good ones, didn't we?
We did. We've had some good racing. Both of these scullers won easily yesterday. They both, neither of them had a tough race to get through. They were both in some of the slowest times of the day because they absolutely weren't pushed. But we've got a big gap developing now.
It's dominant, isn't it? Absolutely dominant. I actually think this next one is a row over.
Yes.
Race 108, which is the first heat of the elite lightweight single sculls. Could even be a semi-final. And North Star Rowing Club, crew 348, have unfortunately scratched. So this is a row over for crew 349, which is Watson of Cambridge 99 Boat Club. So what she'll probably do, as you can see, she'll probably do a little start, I would imagine, to the end of the island, and then conserve some energy for the later rounds and paddle down the course and enjoy it in this beautiful sunshine today here at Henley Women's Regatta.
It's actually to her advantage, I think. This is, as you say, a small event, 6 entries, 1 scratch. They're down to 5 now. So Catherine Watson of Cambridge 99s is the only one who's going to get a run out on the course before she goes into the next race. She will go on to race Maddie Arlott of Edinburgh University in the semi-finals tomorrow. So although she has to kind of get herself up and get out, at least she gets a good row over the course under race conditions before she goes out and races in the semi-finals. She's looking very relaxed, very good. So what you tend to do if you get the opportunity of a row over is you discuss with your coach, work out how far you want to actually race it. So everybody generally does a start. You want to practice your start, you want to get your line right, and she's got her line fantastically there with no one beside her to push her, so she's just got beautifully down the course, straight down the course. She went straight down the island. So you do your start, and then maybe you do your first 20 strokes, and then you decide. I mean, I've done it before where sometimes I've raced to halfway because that's actually what I want to practice.
You almost need the racing element, don't you? On the day, you don't want your legs to almost be heavy when you come to race later on, because actually quite often if you race twice in the day, it is advantageous to do as much of a competitive row over as you possibly can, because you want that sort of not the practice necessarily, but actually to keep the legs moving, to make sure that there's enough there later so that you can tap into that competitive spirit straight away.
Yeah.
But I think, ladies and gentlemen, if you are tuning in with us, wherever you are tuning in with us around the world, this is day 2 of the Henley Women's Regatta, and I have to say it is idyllic this morning here in the seat of the Oxfordshire countryside. It's absolutely beautiful weather. To anyone who is tuning in and is racing later today, please be warned that it is extremely hot. I'm already sweating here in the commentary tower, and it is very hot out on the water, so please make sure you wear a hat or put on some sun cream and keep covered up, because it is going to be very, very warm as the morning and the afternoon progress. But just looking ahead to what we've got coming up later on this morning, we've got one more. The immediate race after this is another heat semi-final of the elite lightweight single sculls. We've got some elite lightweight pairs coming up with some 8s, some club 8s, senior singles, junior 8s. We've got the full range, the full programme here for you at the Henley Women's Regatta. But the current shots on the screen, it is race 108, which unfortunately is a row over for Cambridge 99. And she's just paddling down the course, and I'm sure enjoying the atmosphere as she comes into the enclosures. She's
got good, she's not under any pressure here, but you can see that good look. So what you're looking for when you've got those nice side-by-side shots is that the athlete's able to come under the front stops under control, get the shins vertical, and then put the blades in. And that's what you kind of would hope to see. And then you can really see that they're able to catch hold of the water. The shins vertical, blades in, then push. And obviously she's not under any pressure, so she can do that at her leisure, but she's got a good, long got hold of the water stroke there.
I suppose it's a lot easier at rate 22 than it is at rate 32.
Absolutely. But it's quite surprising. I remember spending a lot of years in rowing trying to, you bomb up and down the slide, but you never actually get hold of it. You can never actually get hold of the water. So that feeling that you can see that how that the legs are really connected to the water. So there's the patience to put the blades in, and then you push through. And it means she doesn't have to kind of yank her arms at the finish because she's really supporting her legs all the way through the stroke.
And I think if we look back up towards the start, race 109, the heat of the elite lightweight single sculls. And if it isn't a heat, Alison, please correct me. But it's Exeter University's Susanna Duncan on the Berkshire station and Ellie Lewis of Agecroft Rowing Club on the Buckinghamshire station.
Well, we can call it a heat or we can call it a quarter-final. Due to the small number of entries, it's the same thing. So this is Elite Lightweight Singles for the Godfrey Row Sport Trophy, sponsored by Colgan Foundation. It's wonderful that, so many events in this regatta. They've got the trophies that have been presented by either people or businesses who just really, really support rowing. And so we've got the Godfrey Row Sports Trophy. Anyone involved in rowing will probably have a bit of their kit somewhere. And sponsored by Colgan Foundation. Really important, as you can, once you get down, you see these shots, if you've been down here, just the amount of organisation and, that it takes to put on this regatta for 3 days, months and months of organisation and an awful lot of expense. And so as not to pass all of that on to the athlete, sponsors are hugely important. So this race...
It's a bit of a step up from what you've just seen. This is the elite lightweight single sculls. So these two athletes are supposedly better, or certainly more equipped than the 8 athletes you've just seen. And it's turning into quite a race. Susanna Duncan, currently on the right-hand side of your picture in the distinctive green kit of Exeter University. She was quite a prolific junior athlete. She was, I think she rowed at the Junior Worlds, unless I'm much mistaken, for Tideway Scullers. And she's now joined the Exeter University programme, which is starting to make a bit of a name for itself on the student circuit. And as they come down past us, that's quite a race, isn't it, Alison? What is that? I think it's probably a few feet, nothing more, to Susanna on the Berkshire station. But Ellie Lewis is an established athlete, an established racer, and I know a ferocious spirit.
And she's been able to, again, so she's just slightly in the lead there, but she's been able to drop her rate a bit more. So she's get that at rating 33, whereas Susanna Duncan whereas Ellie Lewis of Agecroft has got her rate up still up at 35, and you see it's just a bit shorter, so she's maintaining contact. Sometimes an athlete can do that, and we saw that earlier in the day. An athlete was able to do that and still have enough left. It's just the way they scull, it's just the way that they use their levers to advantage, and she's pushing through. So she has got that higher rate, Ellie Lewis, in the red of the Agecroft Rowing Club on the right-hand side of your picture. And she's had that higher rate, that punchier rate, and it's meant that she's been able to push through at this stage. We'll see if Susanna Duncan is able to respond. She's got the lower rate. Can she lift her rate now? Is she able to do it? Does she have the physiology for it? Does she have the fitness for it? And does she have the technique?
I suppose the question you raised there is Ellie Lewis is obviously outrating her opposition, and at the moment that is working for her, but the gear changes we've seen already this morning, the gear changes as you come into the final quarter of the course, how important is that, and how much higher has Ellie Lewis got to go? Already rating, 35, 36?
Yeah.
She's a length up now, but Susanna Duncan's got sort of room to manoeuvre. The question is, can Susanna stay in contact for long enough that she still has a fighting chance as they come into the closing stages of this quarter-final of the elite lightweight single sculls?
It's quite rare in rowing races that once the lead changes once, that it changes back. It does happen, and then you've got an exciting race on. Once it starts to, but it is quite rare that you get that happen. If someone goes ahead and then it's actually, it's just in someone's race plan or in their physiology that they're able to get through later on in the race. And then it's a mental thing really, because once you've been broken, once you've had someone come through you, to really, you've still got a lot of the race left, and to be able to stick with that and put in a big last 500-600, which is 60-70 strokes, you can do a lot. So I always used to say in a single, if I could still see them, I could get them. So as long as and you don't look over your shoulder, so if you can still see them in the periphery of your vision, but she's moving out there now. Ellie Lewis of Agecroft Rowing Club.
Massive middle of the race there, wasn't it?
Now she's able to settle her rate. So you can see now she must be pretty fit. She's done some good training and she managed to keep it up there. So it's a very high quality singles race, but it looks like Ellie Lewis of Agecroft Rowing Club has got that. So we're going back up on the bottom picture there to the top race 110.
Yeah, race 110. Your first heat or quarter-final of the elite lightweight pairs. Thames Rowing Club B on the Berkshire station and Commercial Rowing Club from Ireland on the Buckinghamshire station. It's always fantastic to see any international entries come across and race at Henley Women's. It'd be interesting to also see if Commercial stick around for the newly established pairs event at Henley Royal. But as it stands, I think as the two crews come down, Alison, I can see you madly clicking your phone to get some ratings up. I think I'd probably say there on the left-hand side of your picture, Commercial have maybe the slightly better of the two starts, but I've already been wrong once, so.
Well, Thames Rowing Club went off harder and faster. They were, 43 as I was marking them there, but their steering let them down severely. So they pulled straight over across into the middle of the river. They had to be warned by the umpire. Now they've corrected their steering, but that has let the Commercial Rowing Club crew come through. But then they've got their steering straight again. So they should have been ahead by the end of the island, I think. Their start should have put them ahead. It didn't, but now they've been able to get but they're going off again. This happens so often. They just get themselves straight.
And the pair is incredibly difficult to control. We apologise there. We've got a bit of a malfunction on the camera angles. We've lost that race momentarily.
They're coming down past us.
There we go. We're back up.
Yeah, they're coming down past us now. We can see them. Last year we couldn't see them at all. Now we actually get a good sight. You can see. We can wave to you now in the box. You won't quite see us.
Just about see us.
But the two-story little box, that's where we're sat. So we can see this race come past, and it's really, really close. We've got Thames Rowing Club. They keep getting out to an advantage, and they keep pulling across the middle of the river. It does seem that they have got a bit more strength on stroke side there, and it just seems when they really put it on, they come across the middle, they have to steer back. They've got the advantage again, but again they're having to move back over, and it'll cost them on the steering each time they have to correct that.
I think the phrase is trying to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory at the moment, because certainly Thames look like the more aggressive, the more rugged of the two crews in terms of their style, and I think actually Alison, the more powerful of the two. But for whatever reason, they need to sort out their foot plate, or they need to sort out whoever is trying to steer the pair, because they are allowing Commercial a lot of room and a lot of time to get back into this race because of their erratic steering. But
it's giving us a close race here. Commercial now coming back through. So we've got Hazel O'Neill and Jill Crow of Commercial Rowing Club Ireland, the Dublin club there. They're bringing it back to level. They've raised their rate. They've had a great line down here, very tricky to steer these boats, and they've brought it back to level. This is the Thames Rowing Club B crew. We've got another one later in the day, Eleanor Garrett-Smith and Sarah Fabes. I watched their race yesterday, and this Thames crew won quite comfortably over an Oxford University B crew yesterday. But
in terms of, we've always traditionally had quite a strong women's squad, haven't we? I remember they won a pennant at the head of the river in 2012, and that was massive for their programme. And the fact that they can boat two pairs in the quarterfinals of the elite lightweight pairs at Henley Women's, one of the most prestigious rowing events in the calendar, shows perhaps the depth that they've got. And actually, the Thames Rowing Club B pair are not being rowed over at all. They're well in this race, although I think Commercial have perhaps turned it up a gear, and I think they are starting to try and turn the screw a little bit on the Thames boat. And I think as we can see from the pictures, Commercial just look a little smoother through the water. Maybe that rugged style isn't playing out quite as well in the second half of the race for Thames as it did through the opening stages. But I think, Commercial probably out to about half a length now. If you look on the left-hand side of your picture in the white, green and blue kit, I think, Commercial just about have an advantage.
Gutsy row from the Thames crew here. And yes, it was where I went. Thames was where I went when I wanted to try and make the squad back in goodness knows how long ago, 1997, 98. It was one of the centres of excellence for British women, for women's rowing then, and it was served me well and has continued. It was actually at the time, and the women's programme was way stronger than men's, but the men's has really come up as well. But fantastic for them to be able to have two elite lightweight pairs. I always find it interesting that they put that clubs put out pairs against each other. You know, we've got a very, very small elite lightweight double event here. They could have put one in there, but they're both choosing to row in the row instead. But now it is commercial. They've got that. You know, they just look more comfortable.
Definitely established some
They've
control.
got better technique, and they have had a slightly lower rate the whole way down, and they're just able to. I mean, they're not kind of taking lengths out of Thames. They're taking it foot by foot, but they're able now to drop it down a little bit.
I think it was a battle of attrition. I think it was one that they won. So if we head back down to the start for race 111, I think it's already left the state boats, and it's another quarterfinal of the elite lightweight pairs. There you go. You get your drone shots, and it's Glasgow University on the Berkshire station and the University of London on the Buckinghamshire station. So as the drone just flips over there, it is the crew ahead at the moment. Is the crew from the University of London, UL, with those distinctive purple blades, and they are actually, by some degree, the dominant crew in this race so far. They've already got clear water on their opposition from Glasgow University, and you do wonder sort of if they are the standout crew in this event, because at this stage, Alison, should we be seeing margins such as this, and we haven't even hit the barrier yet?
They've got very sharp catches. You know, look, they're coming past us now, so we've got a beautiful view. They're looking very smooth, very sharp catches. They've got that coming out to front stop to get the blades in. And the Glasgow Uni crew, you know, she's the bow girl there, so taking a look over her shoulder, because they kind of know once you've lost contact by this early on that you've lost it. They do have some pedigree, this University of London crew. They got a bronze in the lightweight pairs, and these two were in the lightweight quad at the Bucks Regatta. So they've been together quite a while. They've done pretty well this season. So Kate Wagstaff in that boat won the academic Coxed Fours, at Henley last year.
So
that would have
she
been
knows the course.
That would have been as a heavyweight there. So she's got herself down to lightweight for this event.
I mean, just if I would, how difficult is that to do, to make the transition? I don't know if you've ever done it, but make the transition from heavyweight to lightweight. Because I imagine trying to compete and not having to worry about what you eat, and going from that to then maintaining the same training regime, but having to be 6, 7, 8 kilos lighter. I mean, that must be a massive challenge.
Oh, yeah, well, I've never done it. I was always just probably, I was always about 70 kilos. So, and we know that, so lightweights, the maximum 59 kilos, crew average of 56, is it? Someone's going to pick me up on that. Crew average, so yeah, it would be, you don't know. I mean, she might have been not far off that anyway.
Yeah.
You know, at club and university level, people tend to just mix up in the crews. I think what Women's Henley really does is it just has this real opportunity for lightweights, which has gone from the international programme. So I think it's really important what Henley Women's Regatta is able to offer.
Absolutely.
Because, lightweight rowing, almost when it was put into the Olympics, it kind of killed it off a little bit at World Championship international level, which rippled throughout the sport. But having such a prominence, I mean, we've got so many lightweights events here and so many entries. I mean, this event, the elite lightweight pairs for the Parkside Trophy, has 12 entries. So it's a very, very popular event.
Speaking of it, I think we've got another one on the course now, race 112, the third quarter final between Wallingford Rowing Club, currently on the right-hand side of your picture, on the Berkshire station, and Thames Rowing Club A. So this will be the top pair of the two crews we've seen from Thames already this morning, and they are currently on the left-hand side of your picture. And Wallingford were warned early on for their steering, and again, Alison, it's that current theme of trying to steer a pair straight down the Henley course, because as you come out of the island and the buoys almost move away from you, it can be deceptive, and crews have been caught out before. But I think looking at those pictures, and I hope my eyesight's not wrong for the third time today, but it certainly does look like Thames have already trying to break contact with Wallingford. And this Thames Rowing Club pair, they look the real deal, don't they?
Yeah, they look good. They've past the end of the island, they've still got their rating up at 36, 37. They're going for good run out. They're really going to break that contact. There, they've got it. So now, just now, and you can see they're actually getting inches per stroke. So it's still very early on in the race, and they've been able to break that contact. This crew, crew, Natalie Hardy and Loina Code of Thames Rowing Club A. It's a first race out for them on the course today. They got a buy through yesterday, so they didn't have to race. So they're just coming past our position now, so we can see them properly, see them side on side. For lightweights, you know, they're tall, coming past us now, they look tall, strong, well-conditioned girls. They've done a lot of training this year. As we were talking about the dieting down, they've slimmed down, they've had to, with lightweights, you know, we talk about natural lightweight, someone who's naturally going to be 56, 57 kilos, or somebody who is taller and has to lose a few kilos, and they look like tall, strong girls. They're getting the measure of this Wallingford Rowing Club crew, Pippa Birch, Louise Hart. They had a good race yesterday. They won their heat by a length and a half, so good for them that they got through one round. They got one race.
Then they've come up against superior opposition here today, haven't they? I think right from the start, the narrative of this race was complete Thames dominance, and I'm sure Ben Lewis, who I saw coming past on his bike there, he'll be delighted with the performance so far. You know, and I think barring any late nautical disasters, I think it will be Thames Rowing Club. They're in the yellow boat with the black and red kit, moving down the course, and I have to say, Alison, I completely agree with you. They look strong for lightweight girls, really powerful, catching the boat out front and sending it through the middle. And there she come past Fawley Court. That's an impressive crew, and actually I think that is the top crew that I've seen from the elite lightweight pairs so far this morning. Of course, I know I'll be proved wrong. They'll be hammered in the next round now I've said that.
But no one will remember that you said that,
well,
hopefully.
Hopefully not, no. If anyone's even listening.
If anyone's even listening, if anyone's even up.
Oh, we've had a bit of drama at the start there for race 113, the last quarter-final of the elite lightweight pairs, and it looks like the crew
They've been let to go,
on the Durham University crew, I think, have crashed.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's happened there, Alison.
Well, we missed that start. We weren't shown that, but it does. We've had some, you know, we talk about the lightweight the pairs being difficult to steer, and we've had some fantastic steering, but it does look like Durham University has crashed on and there they come. So we see the pale purple. They've got themselves back going, but now they've got a margin against the Oxford. It's an Oxford boat in the dark blue there.
University Lightweight Women's
Rowing Club.
Quite a mouthful, that
yeah,
one.
thank you for that. So we've got that one on the left-hand side of your picture.
But I think Oxford, this race is unfortunately done and dusted already,
so
isn't it?
So here's an interesting thing. So this Durham boat, they got through yesterday because the crew that they were racing were disqualified within the first 20 strokes. So this Durham boat got through very easily yesterday, and they weren't really tested. It was about the fourth race of the day, and we had a disqualification from the umpire already. And then it seems to, so they seem to be a bit fated. They had the advantage yesterday, but then they crashed in the first 20 strokes of the race today.
It's been non-stop drama for them.
For them, it has. They've had a very eventful regatta.
You've got to ask yourself now, from the perspective of the Oxford crew, and they'll be delighted, not delighted, but they'll be happy to have already secured this race, but will they be happy with the manner in which it's happened? Because I'm sure these girls, having trained all year for this event, will want to prove themselves against their opposition, not almost have this easy passage through. I suppose if this happened in a final, it would be significantly more impactful, but actually at this stage, how disappointing is this for Oxford, but particularly Durham?
Well, I'm very disappointing for Durham. I mean, you train all year for this. It's an elite event in your calendar, and I remember the once as a university we got a crew together. We were able to get a crew together at Liverpool University and come to compete from this. And Jo Darwin, our stroke girl, got food poisoning, and she was so sick. We still raced, but we have photos of her looking so green. And we didn't have a hope, and that was our big thing. And to have something like this happen, like an illness or a crash, and you're just not able to. For Oxford, great. The Oxford lightweight's fantastic. You wouldn't necessarily want to win your final like this, would you?
No, not at all.
But but you know, to be able to kind of go, right, well, that's not happened to us.
Focus on the next race, I think.
I think it also raises your awareness. You know, it means that when you come to, you know, to race the next race,
you know what not to do.
Yeah, I think you know you can get a bit complacent.
Absolutely, and I think if we go back to the start now.
Yeah.
The main part of your picture, it's race 114, the first quarter-final of the Club 8s, Sons of Thames A on the Berkshire Station, and Galway Rowing Club of Ireland, made famous by Ed Sheeran's Galway Girl, absolute classic, but it's Galway Rowing Club on the Buckinghamshire Station, and the crew's just on the state boats and pretty much ready to go.
So after all the small boats this morning, we like watching the small boats, but there's something a bit special about 8s, isn't there? And up at the start, I mean, what you can't get here from watching the pictures is both the tension at the start and the noise when the 8s go off. Everyone talks about the noise when the 8s go off, and it is fantastic. So we know that we've got the Galway crew here, and we've had a note. They've sent us through to say that they are all watching at home. So hello to the Galway supporters watching on the live streaming. And apparently it's raining in Galway. So stay indoors, stay warm, bask in the sunshine that we are sending you, some warm rays, and good luck to your crew.
I'd like to also apologise for mispronouncing Galway. This is a problem that I have, mispronouncing the most simple of words. But it is Galway Rowing Club from Ireland on the Buckinghamshire Station. I think in the white there, and it's Sons of Thames A in the blue kit.
And it's really always very helpful when the boats and the crews are so well differentiated as this, because when the pitches swap around so much as we go down the course. So the tension here, we've got a little bit of time before the starts. They want to, they leave a longer gap now because, of course, the sculling, the lightweight sculling and pairs races are considerably slower than these faster boats. And they're also, you know, they'll probably be leaving a little bit longer gap because we had that mishap in the earlier race. So those crews are not racing. They're going to take even longer to get down the course. And they want to make sure that they're not caught up by these fast 8s steaming down, and that they're not impeded.
These moments on the start, you can see there the double shot, and actually that's a great shot there from the drone of the 286 side by side. But these moments on the start, I've experienced it a few times myself, and it really is soul-searching. As you sit there and you look across at your opposition, you sort of think, the training that they've done, the training that I've done, I can feel myself getting nervous now. And actually, it's